If you are ready to make some Renaissance style swirls with me, dive into this fun project. We're gonna do a Renaissance sketch. You're gonna finish knowing how to make those gorgeous swirls that defined the Renaissance era. I don't think I have to tell you that people are feeling overwhelmed and want some loose artisan style visuals. We can tap into this trend using Renaissance style motifs and concepts. I identified this trend for my own work and I'm incorporating it into my art, and I want to share with you how today. In this project, you're going to get inspired by some Renaissance style motifs or borders and then turn it into a modern sellable asset. It could become a pattern, a motif, a border, or even a font, and I'm going to show you some examples. I'm Liz Kohler Brown. I'm a surface designer and hand letterer, and I love helping people find their style and sell their work. If you like my tutorials and you've watched one before, go ahead and click subscribe. That helps other people find the channel and it helps you get a notification when my new tutorials come out. I'm going to be using the example of my new Renaissance fonts and graphics pack. I turned my Renaissance form studies into this graphics pack, and you could do something similar for Creative Market, Etsy, Creative Fabrica, or even a pattern collection. This Renaissance style is so versatile. It could be morphed into so many different forms. So whether you like designing patterns, doing lettering, doing fonts, whatever you enjoy, you can give it that Renaissance feel and tap into this trend. 3 days after I listed this pack for sale, it was hand-picked by the Creative Market staff. This is proof that this style is trending and needed in the art and design world right now. So here is my Renaissance font and graphic set on Creative Market. And if you want to take a look at this, you can go to Creative Market and search my name and you'll see it there. We're also going to link it below. But I've basically just taken these playful, fun, loose, Renaissance style designs, Renaissance style motifs, and turned them into graphics and fonts. And each one of these was so fun to make, including all of the letters. You can scan through this whole pack to see everything that's included if you want to. I want to do a highlight on the letters though, because I built this tool that allows you to just draw your letters on a page, and there's a section for uppercase, lowercase, symbols, and numbers. You can do all or just some of those. They're all optional, but I like to do at least the upper and lowercase. Then you just upload those and it turns it into a font, and it does 90% of the kerning and spacing for you. So this is part of my new Renaissance style class. Everyone who watches the class gets access to this fontifier tool. I think it's the fastest way to make a font that I've ever personally seen, and I've used a lot of font making tools. So if you want to make a font just like this, or you want to just make some motifs with me, let's move on and start the project. So if you want to learn how to take this trending style and turn it into artwork, I have so many resources to help you do that. In my Renaissance Design Techniques class, you'll learn how to make sellable art in this trending style. You'll get access to 40,000 Renaissance reference images and access to my Fontifier tool. So let's dive into making your Renaissance asset. So I'm going to start out by getting a little inspiration, and I'm going to link this exact image. So if you want to use the same image, you can. This is at the metmuseum.org, and we're going to put the exact link below. I like this site because you can press the download button and then it just opens in a new window and you can press download. You could open it in your Dropbox. You could easily get it in your Photos app, but of course, alternatively, you can just do the easy way if you don't need the high res version, and you can just zoom in on it and take a screenshot. So I'm just pressing the home button and the volume up button. I think it's different on some iPad models, but that would be your alternative way. Then we're going to go into Procreate and create a new canvas. And I'm going to recommend that you do this at a size that's really shareable, since this is just like a fun project. We're not doing a finished pattern. We're doing a fun, playful test kind of sketch. So I'm going to press new canvas, and you could work at 1080 by 1920 pixels. That is the Instagram story or Reels size. Or you could double that, which is what I have a saved canvas for, double 1080 by 1920. We'll put those up on the screen so you can see the exact size. But basically what we have here is double the size of an Instagram story, just so we have that little bit of extra resolution built in. Let's go ahead and pop a color down on the canvas. I'm going to press hue, saturation, brightness, and just lighten it up a little bit. I just don't like sketching on plain white paper. It's never been my thing. I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm just going to get one dark color that's really easy to see, and grab a brush. You can use my Everything Bagel brush set, which is free, linked below this video if you want to use that, or use any brush you like. I'm using the rough inking from my Everything Bagel brush set. Just putting a line down the middle. It doesn't have to be perfectly down the middle, but it's just something for me to use as a guide when I make my swirls. Next, I'm going to pull that Photos app up by just tapping on it, and if it's not the right size, you can use that little corner down here to resize it, and then we can have that side-by-side view. Next, I'm going to grab a different color on a new layer and start sketching my swirls. So you can use these as some reference as to what your swirls should look like, and there's so many different Renaissance era options for getting reference images. So choose one that you like and go with that. You don't have to use the specific one that I'm using. And then my goal here is to get a variety of swirls. See how they kind of vary the size of the swirls, and that gives it a really nice sense of movement. So I'm going to do that. These don't have to be perfect the first time. We can go over them a few times, but I'm trying to kind of bounce around the canvas like left and right. I'm starting my swirl on the left side of the previous swirl, whereas before I started it closer to the middle. That's why that little line there is helpful. And let's give it a few more. No, I don't like that. Let's do one in the middle instead that's a little guy. So this is kind of why we're doing this as a test project, because you have to get a feel for how these swirls work and how you can make them more and more fluid by taking your time and also going over them a couple of times. But at this point, I would recommend just kind of playfully fill the canvas in whatever way you want. If you want to do the advanced version, you can overlap a swirl. So here's a swirl, and I overlapped that previous one. So that would be an advanced add-on for anyone who's like, this is too easy for me. Then just go ahead and make it a little more tricky for yourself. So once you feel like you've got those general swirls built up around the page, you can reduce the opacity of that sketch and reduce the opacity of your line that's in the center. Create a new layer, new color, and we're just going to tidy these up a little bit. See how fluid these look and how wonky some of these look? I find that just taking your time to go a little bit faster and more fluid and, slow and steady is not always the best when it comes to making swirls. I think it helps to get that movement to give it a little bit more fluidity. So this is swirls practice. It's kind of a fun thing to practice, so take your time. And inside my new Renaissance class, we have over 40,000 reference images from the Renaissance era linked for you. So if you're struggling to find a reference image you like and you want a little more support with that, we do have a whole class on that in my membership, and you can watch that with a free trial. All right, I feel good about those swirls. See how much I improved just the overall roundedness of them with that second round. It's always worth doing that second round. New color, new layer. You can make your previous sketch invisible if you want to, or keep it active depending on what you like to show on the page. I'm going to get a new color. Let's just get a wild orange color. Now we need to start adding some flourishes. So you can look at your reference image for cues, but basically we have a few different kinds. We have these sort of knob looking things, and then we have some that are more like leaves. So they have a 3-pronged leaf sort of situation here. So you don't have to redraw the whole vine, right? We've already got that sort of base sketch going on. You just sort of go around and add these Renaissance style motifs. So we can do one like here that's rounded, and then it has 2 pointed pieces. So that's kind of my goal, is to get all the variation on the canvas, get all the different Renaissance style motifs, and that's when it starts reading more Renaissance than something where you were just like, let's just add a swirl to it. That doesn't quite do it, right? We need to get that full Renaissance feel in there, which has a lot of pieces to it. So take your time here. I'll be doing this exact process, panning around my reference images, looking for cool little swirls and motifs. Probably not going to do an angel baby, but I'll just do all these little plant forms. And then we'll meet up when that is done. So once you feel pretty good about your swirls overall, we can go ahead and make our Procreate window bigger to get rid of that reference image. Then I'm going to reduce the opacity of any sketch layer that's remaining and do one final drawing layer. Of course, you can leave those sketches in there because they do look really cool. I think people like seeing your process, especially in the age of AI. I think our process videos and images are becoming more and more important to just prove that we did it. I've seen a lot of questions lately when someone posts their art about, is this AI? Did you use AI? People want to know. They're curious about how stuff is made. So leave your sketches in there to show, yeah, I did actually do all these layers. And one fun way to share this would just be a carousel post on Instagram, or a story or a reel where you show, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, however many you did, so that it shows the process to your viewers. You can see as I'm doing this, I'm not even fully drawing the shapes. This isn't just like your standard border. I'm doing just a sort of suggestion of the shape, and that has a few purposes, right? On the one hand, it gives it that loose, rough, kind of like stone carved or ink Renaissance feel, but it also hides any mistakes. If your swirls weren't perfect, if your little decoration elements got a little wonky at some places, this is where you can really smooth all that out. I think you can probably see too that I'm going quickly, intentionally, like not allowing myself to obsess over shapes, and your viewers can feel that. They can feel if you're tense, if you're like holding the pencil with a death grip. Have you ever done that? Be honest in the comments. Are you holding your Apple Pencil with a death grip? I know I did. I do it less and less the more confident I get with my drawing. So you might try the old art school trick where you hold your pencil with a different hand, or hold your pencil in a different spot from where you normally hold it day to day. That can help you loosen up if you're one of those people who maybe obsesses a little bit. Anybody? Okay, I'm gonna continue this process and we will meet at the end of that and look at a couple other examples of what you could do with this. So here we are with a finished Renaissance style swirl, and I want to show you a couple options here. You could share this without any of your sketches, or you could leave the sketches in there and just let people see how this was built. Honestly, I think it's more fun to see how it was built. You could also keep going with this, use one of the pattern building tutorials here on my channel to turn this into a whole pattern if you really like doing this. Another option, obviously, is to just keep going. I want to show you a couple other options. So here I did a more simple swirl, one big one and one continuous line all the way up the page, and then just a couple of little ones on the side. And then this one's kind of similar, just one big swirl in the middle. And so you can play with this, do swirls in a lot of different ways. I've also done cases where I put a little animal in there. So you see these little birds I popped in there. So if you like drawing animals, you want to start incorporating that into your work, this is another fun way to use these pieces. So here's just one page from my graphics set that I sold on Creative Market before I vectorized it. And you can see the little two squirrels on the side add so much to this. And then I just did simple leaves for the decoration on the swirls. Then I tried some different types of decoration, and then there's the bird one that you saw. So there's so much you can do with these. I mean, we just have hit the tip of the iceberg here with adding decoration to swirls. You could add these swirls to any kind of illustration, adding in those SEO-friendly elements like birds, like squirrels, maybe even native to certain areas. You know, animals of the French countryside, for example, could be an incredible pattern collection with all these swirls. So I hope you all enjoyed that. Remember to share these with me. You can do that by just breaking this down into layers, you know, share one as a JPEG, share the next one without your final sketch as a JPEG, and then just upload those to Instagram as a story, as a carousel, whatever you would like to share, and tag me so I can see it. It's question time. This is when I answer a question that you all have asked me in the comments. So go ahead and put a question below if you've never asked one before and you're curious about something that I've shared or shown here on the channel. This question is from Kimma Smith Art, and it says, "Hi Liz, were most of your spoonflower sales last year fabric or wallpaper? I keep hearing a lot of designers say they're switching their focus to more wallpaper because people aren't buying fabric like they used to." I think that's true, Kimma. I think that fabric is one of those niches for people who sew, and that is a dying art. It's not something a lot of young people are willing to sit down and do. So as the older generation is more or less able to continue sewing, less people are sewing. It's just a fact. But more people are using wallpaper because we're in this pattern drenching maximalist era, and the designers and also just people who are refurbishing their home, freshening things up, they're putting some wild pattern either on an accent wall or in a whole room. So yes, to answer your question, Kimma, I do sell a lot more wallpaper, maybe not by square footage, but by revenue. Yes, I make a lot more money per order with wallpaper because, you know, if you buy some fabric, you might buy a yard or two at the most. Some people just buy a swatch, which is like this big. Whereas if you're buying wallpaper, you're probably doing a whole wall or maybe even a whole room. So you just have a higher dollar order. So a wallpaper order is worth a lot more than a fabric order. So yes, I have a whole wallpaper class where I share all my numbers. I tell you how much wallpaper I've sold in the last few years, and I show you exactly how I do it. I also give you a big list of licensors and printers that you can use. So if you're just totally lost on where to start with selling wallpaper, I have a whole guide for that inside my membership, and you can grab it right now with a free trial. So if you all enjoyed this video, you can check out some other videos on my channel, like the Draw Better Flourishes, where we go a little bit deeper into drawing those gorgeous swirls and flourishes, and the Craftsman Pattern Techniques tutorial, where I show you how to tap into this trending Craftsman pattern style.